Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here, and today we're going to do our first video breakdown. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Advice for Magicians, where our goal is to make you guys be the best entertainers that you possibly can be. I'm your host, Michael O'Brien, and again, I wanted to thank all of you so much for being here. If you have not already, please make sure to click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. So if you guys like this content, you'll be notified anytime I update a new video. Also, don't forget we have our Mob Squad membership. If you guys become a member for just $1 a month, you'll get access to a ton of awesome stuff, including magic tutorials, early access videos, live chat emojis, badges, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. You'll also get a nice little shout out right here on this channel, just like these guys. So let's go ahead and welcome our newest Mob Squad members. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Isaac Hurtado, Brian Robertson, and Martin Lodiero. Thank you guys so much for becoming Mob Squad members. You are awesome. If you want to become Mob Squad members just like these guys, all you got to do is just click the join button. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive right into this video. So I've been wanting to do this for a long time now, but I thought that it would be a lot of fun to go ahead and just find a way to do it. I wanted to find a way if I can like hook it up so that I can watch it alongside you guys and all that. But I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna watch the video here and I'm gonna put it on the screen and we can break it down together. So essentially, I'm going to be watching one of my performances and I'm gonna pause it every so often. I'm gonna talk about why I decided to do that, or what happened there, or what makes the performance engaging, etc. If you guys would like to see more of these in the future, I am more than happy to do more of these. Make suggestions in the comments if you want. If there's a specific performance that you guys want to see me break down, just go ahead and let me know. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of mine, although I would love to talk about my own stuff, not just because like I like talking about myself. Okay, not only because I like talking about myself, but because I get to give you the insight on why I made these creative decisions and stuff. But I would also love to break down some other performances as well, especially ones that I think would be really good to feature on this channel. So anyways, I decided to choose one of my most requested pieces of magic by you guys. A lot of people have said, why haven't you put this up as a tutorial yet? And a lot of people really enjoy the deck switch utility that I use in this, and the way that the routine is structured and all that. So I figured I might as well talk about my Chicago closer. So let's go ahead and actually dive right in and take a look at it. This is a 8-minute long video. So strap in, here we go. If you guys want to watch this after I'm done breaking it down, I'll leave a link in the description so you can watch the full thing from start to finish without all the pauses and breaks and without having to watch it in this little box. So let's go ahead and dive in. My old bumper soundtrack. You guys are all very kind. I appreciate it. If I could stay all night, I would. I got an 8-month-old with me at home. Congratulations! So this last one, it's gonna be a little bit different. So I know it's silly and it's magic tricks, right? And we joke around and stuff. But this last one, I kind of wanted to take a little turn, and I wanted to try something a little bit more magical, I guess you could say.
Cut Mark in half.
Oh no. So this one is going to be my attempt at outdoing myself when it comes to card tricks. Because we've all seen card tricks where the magician picks a card, they find it. Yay! Like we've seen it. But this is going to be a little bit different. This isn't so much like a pick a card, I'm going to find a trick. This is a little bit different. So, Mark, I want you to help me with this one. You can stay right where you are. Yes. I want you to picture the deck of cards in your mind. Picture all the cards spread out in front of you, right?
Okay.
I want you to reach forward and choose one of those cards.
Okay.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
I want you to hold that card up in your mind. Look at that card. Don't say it out loud. You're thinking of a card.
I am, yeah. How did you know?
For the first time, can you reveal to everyone the name of the card that you're holding?
Jack of Diamonds.
The Jack of Diamonds. Would that be a good trick?
Yeah.
Super, yeah. No.
Just joking. Okay, so I'm gonna pause right there. We're already like 2 minutes in, and literally all that's happened was someone thought of a card, and I took a random card out of the deck and I set it aside and I said, name the card out loud that you're thinking of. They named the card, and I picked up the card very slowly and said, if this was your card, would that not be impressive? Of course, they're like ready to lose their minds because they think that it's the right one. I turn it over and it's revealed to be the Joker. And I go, just joking. That would be impossible. So that actually was a creative choice that I decided to make later on. I didn't actually open with that. The way I originally opened this routine was, name any card that you want. We're gonna try something cool. They name it, and then I go through the deck and I find it, and then I go into the routine, which you guys are gonna see here in a minute. So I decided to add this for 2 reasons. Number one, it lowers their expectations. It's a gag. It hypes them up and builds it up to be this big thing, and then they realize that it's not quite as big as it sounded like it was gonna be. And so their expectations are lowered a little bit, right? Which means when it, spoiler alert, when it does happen later in the routine, it feels bigger because they thought that it was previously impossible because I played it off as this gag. The other thing that it does is it allows for an interesting way for them to have a card selected. So have you ever done this where you spread a deck of cards and you say, pick any card? And they're like, oh, I've seen this one before. Notice at the beginning, like the first thing that I do is I tell them, like, this is going to be different. This isn't going to be like your typical card trick. So everything about that opening sequence is meant for them to feel like this is going to be different. Like he's not just saying pick a card. Like he's going to do a mind reading trick or I don't know what, right? So, and then the third thing, of course, is the reason that I put this in is because it's a setup for the big reveal later on. So let's go ahead and jump back in so we can see what I'm talking about. One of these days, someone's gonna choose the Joker. Like I said, this isn't a pick a card trick. So the card itself isn't important. It's the deck and your mind that matters.
That shit's been broken for years.
Tell me how.
Every single card.
Magic, dude!
When you were thinking of a card in your mind, right? And when I asked you to spread all those cards out, in your mind you probably pictured a red deck of cards. So that card that you held out should match the card that was in your mind.
Oh shit.
It was the Jack of Diamonds, right?
Right, correct. Oh.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about that sequence there. Again, notice what I did. I didn't just say, look, watch, the deck, boom, it changes color, and now there's, all the cards are blue except one card, which is the red card, and lo and behold, it's yours, yay. Notice there was deliberate beats where there was, I guess you can call them applause or reaction cues already built in. So the first thing that I did, this is a really great group. You can tell they were already like super into it. So there was a few times throughout this entire performance, not just the Chicago closer, but throughout like the whole hour-long set that I did. And you guys can watch all of this stuff too. It's all there. It's called Penthouse Performance or something. I'll put links in the description. Where I had to like kind of pause and close their attention in on the thing that I was doing. So you notice I'm holding the deck and it's a red deck of cards. I show this hand open and I look around and I wait for them to kind of settle down and I point, show the hand empty, and then I do the color change. So the first thing that happens is the top card changes blue. And they assume maybe just the top card changed blue. And then I spread the cards and they realize all of the cards have changed blue. So there's two actual reactions right there. The first reaction to the color change, the second reaction to me spreading the deck out and them seeing that all of the cards are indeed blue. So just to kind of rewind a little bit, another reason for the Joker reveal that I did was so that I had the excuse to take the two Jokers out of the deck. Now, what's the deal with the two Jokers? Why is that important? You'll notice that the two Jokers have red backs. So the Jokers having red backs, the card case being red, and the cover card being red will lead them to believe, without me ever saying that the deck is red. Did you ever once hear me say, that, oh, look, all of these cards are red. Notice that all of the faces are red and all the backs are different. Like, a lot of color changing decks will start off that way. I do my best to not say that at all. In fact, the only time I even mention the backs being red is like after the change has happened. And I said, you were thinking of the deck. You probably, when you were thinking of it, it was red, right? So that card that you're still thinking of should still be red. And that's when I go through the deck and then I find the only red card in the deck, which is the Jack of Diamonds. So it all kind of makes sense. But don't do this thing where you go, look, all of the cards are red. Isn't that interesting? And you're going through, right? It's Helder Gimeres did a lecture a while back. I think a little bit of it is featured on his Red Mirror DVD. But he talks about this. He says, why is it that magicians, when they show these gaff cards, they feel the need to say, look, all of the cards are normal on the back and normal on the front. You don't need to say that. The spectators already understand that the cards are normal. All you have to do is just say, look, I have 4 cards, right? So in this instance, all I did was I said, look, I have a deck of cards here. I want you to think of one, and I'm going to take one out from the deck and set it down. But all these subtle, underneath the surface things are happening, like you're seeing the red-backed Jokers, you're seeing the red box, you're seeing that when I'm holding the deck, even after I've been shuffling it and stuff, it's always red. But again, I never say red, I never emphasize red. It just let it happen in their minds. So let's go ahead and continue.
Now magicians are not supposed to do the same trick twice. It's like the rule, right? But I'm going to do it again anyway. And this time I don't want to know what the card is. So Mark, I'm going to shuffle the cards just like this. You'll say stop. Whatever card you stop me on, that's the one that we're going to use. Sound fair? Don't say it out loud though. I don't want to know what it is. But you say stop. Okay. Stop. There. Don't say it out loud. Okay. And I know there's windows and mirrors and stuff, so I'm going to try not to look at it, okay? Can everyone see? Yes.
Wait, show it over here.
Alright. Got it?
Okay.
Oh, really?
Careful with that mirror, Bryce.
There's a trap. Alright. One card. Everyone's thinking of it?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
It turns into a Pokemon card.
Yeah.
You're thinking of it, right?
Yeah.
He's thinking of cue bones.
Don't make it cute punk.
From the Pokemon trick I did earlier.
Wait a minute, where'd it go?
Where's cue bone?
Are you thinking of it or not? You are?
Yeah.
What card was it?
What just happened? What
Don't
just
say it.
happened?
Don't say it. Oh.
4 cards?
Yeah.
No.
That was it.
No. There's no 4 cards in here.
I didn't say anything. I'm just looking
At
at
the
it.
beginning I said, if I could just set a card down onto the table, right? So if you have you name a card and then turn it over and have it be the card, that would be awesome.
All right, so again, all I did there was essentially say, okay, choose another card. And this time I'm not going to know what it is, because last time you told me the name of the card and maybe I was able to cheat. So this time I'm going to show you a random card. And I just do a Hindu shuffle force. A lot of people have told me, like, dude, the Hindu shuffle force is like the worst force ever. I came up with a subtlety. Well, it's not really original to me. I'm sure it's been done before. But I figured out this subtlety where you can show multiple cards in different ways. If you guys want to learn that subtlety, I teach it here on the channel in the tutorials playlist, so you guys can go check that out too. But a card is chosen, it's shown around, lost back into the deck, and now the magician in trouble plot starts to happen. Snap, and no red card. Let me try it again. Snap, still no red card. That's really strange. Can you tell me which card you were thinking of? They say 4 of hearts. I look through the deck, and I'm like, the 4 of hearts ain't in here, right? I don't do it in this performance, but later I've actually started looking for the first selection, and I take it out and I reveal it. And I show the first selection, and then I look down at the table. These guys caught on pretty quickly. Like as soon as I looked down at the table, they started freaking out. Sometimes you don't get that reaction that you're hoping for. So what I did was I started to kind of nudge that reaction by removing the first selection. In this case, it would have been the Jack of Diamonds, and turning that over and being like, and then pointing to the one on the table. Then the card is revealed, and the big payoff from the Joker thing that happened earlier has now come to fruition, right? So now the card has changed. It's not the Jack of Diamonds anymore. It actually is the 4 of hearts. And at the very beginning, when I said if I could just set a card down on that table and it could change to the card that you're thinking of, that would be impossible. It's revealed, and the whole thing kind of comes full circle again. Technically, you can end it there, and you can move on to more card magic. So if you wanted this to be an opener, you could technically play this as an opener. The deck is completely normal at this point, so you could go on to do magic with it. Or if you wanted to, you could switch the deck for one that's stacked, so you can start going into some like mnemonica stuff or whatever. This is the misdirection that you need to perform the deck switch. So the deck switch has already been done. So let's watch the last couple minutes of this now and find out what I did after this deck switch happens.
Now, at the very beginning of this, I said I didn't want to do a card trick. I wanted to do a trick of the mind, right? So this is a very interesting experiment because I set the card on the table and it ended up changing. It's not even the card that you thought of, right? What we see, this is all just what our mind is processing. That's the beauty about being a magician, is I'm able to kind of plant these little seeds in your mind from the very beginning. So for example, I can't really change the color of the cards, right? They're either red cards or they're blue cards or black cards or green cards or whatever color I decide it want to be, right? And the reason for that is simple. It's because I told you that that was the case, as is the case with this deck. So you can see the very sharp contrast here. We have a red card, we have a bunch of blue cards, right? But the very interesting thing isn't so much the backs of the cards, it's actually the faces of the cards. Because I showed you a deck of cards, I asked you to pick one in your mind, right? Right now you're not thinking of any cards except for the one that you chose, which means if you look here, you'll notice all of the cards except. You guys can check that out if you want. My name is Michael O'Brien.
And we'll go ahead and end there because it's like a minute of them freaking out and giving me a hug and going, Magic Mike, and all that stuff. Again, they were an awesome group. These clients have actually booked me for several things and we've become friends. So this is a really fun experience. But let's talk about that ending real quick and then we'll end this video because we're going on like 20 minutes already. So I just did a blank deck ending, right? I do like this kind of outro thing where this whole time I've been, you know, doing these magic effects, but really it's all, you know, this subtle hints that I'm dropping and you're coming up with these own things in your mind. Earlier in the show, like at the very beginning, I talked about how magic is for us to all have this sense of wonder and to like become kids again. So this is kind of closing out that thing, which again is why I like to perform this as my closer, because it brings the whole thing full circle. I started off with a blank deck of cards. I do a bunch of magic card stuff, and then it comes back around, and not only does it end with blank cards, but the whole theme sort of like the act comes full circle. So the way that I design my routines and pick and choose where in the actual show they go, it's all thought about ahead of time. I don't show up to a gig and go, I have a deck of cards, let's do some card tricks. And I don't just like come up with the order on the spot. It's all premeditated. So when you're building your act, it's really important to do that. So in this instance, I produced a dank deck. I produced a blank deck of cards, but you don't have to. Like I said, you can, if you wanted to play this as an opener, you absolutely could play this as an opener. You can start with the, I have a deck of cards, think of any card. Just joking, right? And then you go into the color changing deck thing, and then you go into the second half with the transposition, and that would be impossible, and everyone freaks out, and now you've done the deck switch, and now you're set for mnemonica. And then you can say, but what would it look like if you were able to name any freely chosen card, right? So go ahead and think of any card that you would like. Name any card that you want. And then they say like Ace of Diamonds. And then you say, well, here, wouldn't it be interesting, if I was to do X, Y, Z, and then be able to tell you exactly where in the deck the Ace of Diamonds was. And then you start going into deck stacked work, right? Like a mnemonica-esque routine or something like that. It doesn't have to necessarily be that. It could be really whatever you want. The idea is I want you guys to start thinking about how these effects roll into each other, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be related to the other one. Like in this instance, it kind of is, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Like, how do I go from doing magic with a regular deck to doing magic with Pokemon cards, right? For me, all I really do is I just say, so this is a deck of cards that you're probably all familiar with, and I've been doing magic for a really long time. In fact, the reason that I like to do magic is because it reminds me so much of my childhood. So would you guys like to see my childhood deck of cards? The oldest deck of cards that I own, and then I take them out and they're Pokemon cards and everyone freaks out. There's the transition right there. So find ways to transition from trick to trick. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of this performance. Sorry the audio isn't the best. I was mic'd and the audio got lost. So I don't know what happened. There was a bad connection or something happened where the audio was not usable. It was like for most of it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to watch the full thing from start to finish uninterrupted, I actually have a few different versions of this, a few different videos. You kind of see it evolve over the years. There's a video from like 5 years ago. There's a video from 3 years ago, this one, and there's a video just from December of last year. So you guys can get like an idea of these different performances and how they've changed over the years. Also, if you would like to learn the Chicago closer, I just uploaded it to the tutorials thing. So for all of you guys that have been bugging me about it and who sat through this whole video and watched, you are welcome. You are able to go watch that video if you are a member. It's in the members only playlist, the Magic Tutorials playlist, that is. For just $1 a month, you guys can check out that plus like 37 other tutorials. Anyway, my name is Michael O'Brien. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for sticking all the way around to the very end of this like 25-minute long video. I'll catch you next time. Take care.